So now it's time to unveil my pillars. You might recall several weeks ago I put together one document, and it's a graphic that's on my Facebook page, that describes the 5 pillars that I believe are the most important in a future-focusing Waukesha County Sheriff's Department. So let's go through pillar number 1. Now, pillar number 1 is countywide partnerships and unified law enforcement. Now, you might think, well, that's probably happening already, and to some degree, it is. But not on the leadership level that I am capable of. Under my administration, we're going to do some very different things. Things that put our municipal partners and our local law enforcement leaders, all of us collaborating together. So we need to partner with our local police departments, more so than we are today. The Waukesha County Sheriff's Department is the overarching law enforcement agency for the county. But yet we work so independently as if we're silos. And that's not beneficial to really anybody. And if you think about it, if you're a Waukesha County taxpayer, you pay taxes that go to the Sheriff's Department for a variety of functions. If you have your own police department, like Menominee Falls or Brookfield or Shaniqua, Pewaukee, it doesn't really matter what the department is. You're paying additional taxes to also fund your police department. You are paying for the Sheriff's Department, but probably not utilizing the services that you would expect. So we want to change that, right? Number 1 is we need to make sure that our lieutenants are overseeing our road deputies and assisting them on the street. Now that also comes with another task under my administration. Each lieutenant and or captain will be assigned a couple departments as liaisons. They will have to go on a regular basis and stop in fact, in a week shift or a week rotation, they have to stop in at least once. We really need to understand what our partners need in other cities, villages, and townships, but at the same time, also bring their information back to us. You see, in a perfect world, we would all be communicating as greatly as we can, but we're all doing different functions. It's the same function, but it's within different municipalities. We need to bridge that gap. We need to do better at that. It all starts with the sheriff, though. The sheriff has to have an outstanding relationship with every police chief in the county. So there have to be regular one-on-one meetings, not just attending the Waukesha County Chiefs Association meetings monthly, but also one-on-ones with needs analysis on what each department needs. Oconomowoc or Summit might need something completely different from the Sheriff's Department than, let's say, the city of Muskego or New Berlin. Those are the things that you will only understand and know, and only then will you create partnerships when you sit down and you get to know one another and you work together. Remember, we serve all departments in the county, regardless of whether or not it's the Sheriff's Department or a local municipality. I've said this before, and I've made it very well known, that we need to find a way to have countywide jurisdiction amongst all of our officers in the county. Now, that's going to come with some challenges, but I'm confident where there's a will, there's a way. In Milwaukee County, it worked awesome. In fact, it helped not only collaborate police departments, but get things done quickly. Law enforcement needs to move quicker than we are today, and we all know that crime does not stick within borders of a municipality. It is our job to make sure that we give our municipal partners everything we can, and that is idea number 1. Number 2 is we need to coordinate and share more and better. A forensic crime lab on a county level makes all the sense in the world. And there's some politics that got involved in that, unfortunately, even in a collaboration between the county and one local jurisdiction. We're going to fix that. We're going to make sure that we are all working together because, as I said before, every community is a little bit different, but when we combine costs, when we combine resources, and we collaborate where we can, it just furthers the same interest that all of us had, and that is to reduce crime and to make sure that those who get picked up for whatever they're doing go to jail, get processed, and get fairly treated through the criminal justice system. So what do? We can share resources, we can share personnel, we can share costs. But we also need to share crime analytics. As far as I can tell, communities are not sharing the data. We live in a world of AI, and you could put AI to use to try to trend where the crime is happening. What's happening in Brookfield might be happening in Pewaukee as well, because let's be honest, Springdale Road might separate the two communities, but it doesn't mean that the bad guys are going to stay on one side or the other, right? That's just common sense. We need to do a better job of coordinating things like the OWI task force, which, as far as I know, does not exist. On a countywide level, we need to make sure that each municipality is involved in a program like that, including truck and crash investigations, doing things where we can learn from each other and utilize each other's skills. SWAT teams, emergency response tactical units, drug units. There are so many opportunities for collaboration. We haven't even scratched the surface yet. Most importantly, we need to make sure that our leaders understand that we are working for them. And that doesn't mean just chiefs and administrators in other police departments. That means municipal leaders. We need to understand what's going on in each community, and we need to make sure that as a sheriff's department, as the overarching law enforcement agency in the county, we have a really strong handle on what's going on. Now, in a future pillar, I want to talk about transparency and ways we can connect with the community, including a countywide app, which is long overdue, right? But we can make efforts to bring communities together that may not be able to afford a contract car, townships in the western part of the county, but maybe together they could, and they could get better coverage at a really reduced rate. Above all, we need to make sure that our deputies, our investigators, our road cops, the ones that we train to drive a really expensive, decked out vehicle with a lot of equipment, to drive fast, to respond to scenes, to make arrests, to take action, sometimes even deadly force if necessary, but yet we bog them down with making decisions, and we have to make decisions that unfortunately have to go up the chain of command. We need to change that. We need to make sure that our deputies have the freedom and our detectives have the freedom to make decisions. We trust them, and now we need to make sure that with that trust comes responsibility. I trust them, and I know that they'll do good things. Through combined training, combined efforts, combined personnel during investigations, it's all something that will make our county stronger. It will reduce crime, and it will reduce cost as well. Let's be honest, in the next few years, Waukesha County is going to have some challenges when it comes to taxes and a levy. But the bottom line is when we work together, we can do really cool things. Thanks for listening. That's pillar number one.